Hello there and good evening. Welcome to the broadcast. You're just in time for EBN Prime Edition on this 20th day of July 2023. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Here are the top stories tonight. 6 people nursing gunshot wounds in Homa Bay County as police engaged protesters in running battles. A sense of normalcy. Major cities across the country record 0 protests on the second day of Azimio's mass action.
The unprecedented level of police brutality.
Azimio la Umoja accused government of executing innocent protesters, even as day 3 of protests kick off on Friday at Imara Daima, Jivanji Gardens and Kamukunji grounds. Well, indeed, let's get started. You can watch this broadcast live on Facebook and on YouTube on EBN TV. Our SMS line is 23993. EBN Prime Edition begins right now. Now to the latest concerning the Embakasi East Member of Parliament, Babu Owino, who was arrested on the eve of the anti-government demonstrations, was transferred from Wanguru Police Station in Kirinyaga to Nairobi Area Regional Police Headquarters under tight security. The lawmaker is facing subversion charges with regards to his role in the ongoing opposition-led anti-government protests. Babu Owino was on Tuesday night arrested at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and taken to Wanguru Police Station in Mwea, Kirinyaga County, where he is said to have spent the night. He was on Thursday transferred to the Nairobi Area Traffic Police Headquarters after his family members and lawyers stormed the Wanguru station demanding his release. This evening, he appeared before the Milimani Law Courts, and here are the processions.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. There's a maxim.
Yes.
You are saying that someone has not taken water for 3 days.
Yes. He has not taken water for 3 days. In fact,
How did he?
yes. Pardon?
How did he know?
I've actually, we went to Wanguru police station in the morning. We were there even yesterday. We were dispersed. Even advocates couldn't access. But today, I've been with him at the basement cells. That's the first time we've been able even to access him. That's how inhuman this has been. He has not taken his ear and talked, and I've confirmed that from him. And I believe...
So all of us, it's true. Just a moment. Did you give him water yourself?
Yes. Your Honor, the conditions down there, and I really empathize with the officers here, with their strict instructions. Even for us to gain access, it wasn't that easy. I even tried to call my colleague. Ryungu is very good at helping us in those issues. But
Your Honor, we attempted to carry water from the gate. You could not be allowed to come in. I'm sorry. You would not be allowed by the police officers to come in with anything.
I just wanted to find out why he's talking about
What Mr. Okati is not telling you is Babu Owino has been shakaholat for the last 3 days.
Your Honor, but there was also a tweet that the Hamed Nigeria said that the police officers treated them very well. So I'm wondering what measure of treatment was it? I mean, on 1 minute here he's saying they're not treated, but he tweeted and said the officers were very professional in treating.
Your Honor, I'll deal. No police officers are my plan. I'll deal. I'll defend.
Well, of course, he just appeared in court this evening and he has been given permission to go and seek medical assistance as well as, take something, but is expected at least in court tomorrow morning where the judge will rule on his bail application. The others who are arrested will remain in the police station. So tomorrow is a big day as we'll be keeping tabs with that as well. A sense of normalcy returned to most parts of the country amidst the ongoing Azimio mass action that is on day 2, contrary to scenes on Wednesday, where major towns reopened businesses and Kenyans were out on the streets. Azimio la Umoja had called for a 3-day protest across the country in line with protesting against the high cost of living and other myriad issues. 6 people have been admitted to the Homa Bay County Teaching and Referral Hospital after sustaining gunshot wounds from the anti-government protests on Thursday. The 6 were shot following running battles between police and the protesters in Homa Bay town. The 6 include 4 men and 2 women who sustained gun injuries during protests in Shauriako area when police were engaging youths during the day 2 of the anti-government protests. The hospital's chief executive officer, Dr. Peter Ogola, said the 2 men who were shot on the upper thigh are waiting surgical operation.
But we have received 6 clients, patients, 2 women and 5 gentlemen with injuries. All of them say they had a loud bang right before they felt something hitting them in their lower limbs. And associated with pain, one says he lost ability to walk for a few minutes. So the 2 ladies and 2 gentlemen have soft tissue injuries. It's just some pain, of course swelling in the area that they are alleged to have been hit by something, and they are generally stable. So for the 4, we expect that after observation for a few hours, we are going to let them home. The 2 gentlemen, however, are bleeding from lacerations, cut wounds, 2 cut wounds on the lower limbs, thigh region. The bleeding was arrested in the outpatient, and we sent them for X-ray. 1 gentleman is still bleeding slightly. We sent them for X-ray, and it looks like for both the 2 men, there is a foreign body in the thigh. Having said that, I'd like to repeat that they are stable. There is no threat to life with the kind of injury we have seen and their condition at the moment, but they are planned for the foreign bodies to be removed as soon as possible.
Hapa tunaishi kwa Kotenoba. Ilikuwa tunatengeneza mlango ngine hapa kwa poloti. Kutengeneza mlango tuko watu 4. Tuko na fundi 2 na mwingine mimi ndio wa 4. Sasa jamaa watu mmoja akatimbia, wale maandamano akatimbia kwa poloti, akaingia. Ofisa polisi akaingia kwa poloti, tunaambia tufanya kazi yetu poloti kidogo, wala ameingia geti na ametoka na nyuma. Hawa akarudi nyuma. Sisi tunaanza kuendelea kuendeleza mlango. Baada ya dakika kidogo, fundi iko nje anapiga msumari. Mimi niko ndani nashikilia mabati. Naona kitu akanipiga mguu. Nilimwambia fundi, iko kitu amenipiga. Nasema hapana, wewe umebabaika. Kutoa hata sarwali, damu ndio inakuja kwa mguu. Hiyo ndo sasa ndio akanipiga risasi.
Well, Azimio lawmakers have alleged that police have been instructed to execute innocent protesters, even as they confirmed the demos will continue on Friday. Led by the National Assembly Minority Leader Opiyo Wandayi, the leaders want the international community to keenly monitor and the Director of Public Prosecutions to probe the quote-unquote executions and abductions of their colleagues. Wandayi claimed that wanton shootings by the police indicate the officers were acting on instructions from their bosses. The leaders vowed that they will not tire or surrender.
The unprecedented level of police brutality targeted at innocent, peaceful, unarmed Kenyan citizens. In fact, we are worried that there could have been instruction to the police to carry out what I would term as execution of citizens in broad daylight. We have seen them. There are videos doing the rounds all over of police or people masquerading as police, because some of them are in civilian clothes, killing Kenyans in broad daylight. In broad daylight. It is something that has never been witnessed, even in the most dictatorial states and systems. It reminds us of the happenings in Cambodia under the late dictator Pol Pot. I'm sure you know, those of you who have read history. So this police brutality is alarming, to say the least. And we want the international community and international agencies, especially the United Nations Human Rights Office, to not only comment on these matters regularly, but also to take serious note of these happenings, with a view to holding to account the perpetrators of these heinous crimes. The Director of Public Prosecution to exercise their constitutional mandate.
Legal implementation of the Finance Act, which is before court. We have evidence that though the matter is in court, this rogue regime has gone ahead and is quietly implementing the Finance Act. We have also seen that the right to assemble has been violated.
Now to the head of state, President William Ruto has commended the security personnel for dealing with the protests firmly and professionally as the opposition staged a 3-day mass action. While speaking in Isiolo during the issuance of title deeds, the head of state has labeled the opposition as criminals for their plans to conduct the demos. President William Ruto has asked Azimio leader Raila Odinga to accept defeat and move away from the August 2022 elections.
Kuna wale wanataka kusukuma nchi yetu kwa mambo ya kupigana, mambo ya vita, maandamano ya kuharibu mali na biashara ya watu. Mimi nataka niwashukuru Wakenya wote. Wakenya wamesema kwa sauti moja na wameongea kwa vitendo vyao, wamesema hawataki vita, hawataki maandamano, hawataki fujo, hawataki kuharibu mali ama maisha ya wananchi ipotee. Wananchi wote wa Kenya tangu jana wamekataa mambo ya maandamano. Wakenya wanataka tujenge uchumi, tujenge Kenya, tuweke amani, ndio tupeleke taifa letu la Kenya mbele. And that is why I want to commend the people of Kenya. Kenyans have spoken loudly and clearly that they do not want violence. They do not want chaos. They have no business with anarchy. They have spoken clearly that this country is a democratic country. We are a peaceful nation. We cannot sabotage our motherland. We cannot destroy the only nation that we have. And that is why there is peace in our country. I want to commend our security officials for dealing with criminals firmly, but also professionally. They have done a good job making sure that we make sure that every citizen can enjoy their constitutionally provided rights. Na hivyo ndivyo tutaenda mbele kwa pamoja. Hatuwezi kukubali ya kwamba ati tunafanya uchaguzi, wale wameshindwa wanapanga maandamano, ati kuwe na uchaguzi tena ya pili, ati kuamua tena. Uchaguzi ama uongozi utaamuliwa kwa uchaguzi na kura ya wananchi. Haiwezi kuamuliwa kwa vita ya maandamano ama mnaza wananchi. That's how we are going to run the affairs of our nation. We must be firm, we must be clear that we cannot install leadership. We cannot do what our friends want us to do.
Now, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has hit out at the international community for advocating for dialogue between the Kenya Kwanza administration and the opposition as a means to end the ongoing anti-government demonstrations. Speaking in Isiolo County on Thursday, the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua noted that President William Ruto will not hold talks with the opposition leader Raila Odinga, who he says is responsible for the violence, deaths and destruction of property witnessed during the demos, describing the former premier as a quote-unquote criminal.
This is a time to bring to an end political blackmail in this country. For too long, that mzee wa maandamano ametumia fujo to blackmail the people of Kenya and find his way into leadership. We want to tell Mzee Maandamano, there is no shortcut to leadership. The only route is one, the ballot. Hakuna njia ingine. Na kwa hivyo rais ukae kidete, huyu mzee angoje, 2027 haiko mbali sana, he can wait. Lakini kutoa fujo ati ndio ingizwe kwa serikali, rais wetu wa Kenya wanakataa. And we want to ask our church leaders, the international community, it is wrong to ask the president to sit down with a criminal. Sasa wewe umefanya watu wameuawa, umeharibu mali ya watu, alafu mnaambia rais ati kwa sababu umetoa fujo ati utulizwe. That has happened for a long time and the consequences has been that kazi ya Kenya imesimama. Kwa hivyo rais wetu, wewe ulipatiwa mamlaka na Wakenya, Mwenyezi Mungu akipenda, wewe fanya ile kazi ulipatiwa na Wakenya na hao wanaweza kungoja. Na ile kitu ya kustabisha Wakenya ni kwamba hawa watu saa ile waliona kimeumana. Hakuna alikanyanga town. Moja alidifisha Nairobi Hospital akasema akuwa admitted, awekwe tu maji kwa sababu si mgonjwa, ndio asiende maandamano. Mwingine anakaa kwa nyumba yake, mwingine anakaa kwa nyumba yake. Alafu wanatuma watoto ya wenyewe wakauawe. Why can't they come themselves? Ama watume watoto wao kama huyu wao wawili, mtu ya katikati na mzee ya maandamano, watoto wao wako Arusha katika assembly ya East Africa. Alafu wao wanatuma watoto ya wenyewe kwa barabara. Kwa hivyo tungetaka hawa vile wanasema itaendelea wakuje wenyewe.
Communication and ICT Principal Secretary Edward Kisiangani now says the state recognizes the role played by the media amidst the ongoing anti-government demonstrations while calling for a fair playing ground. His sentiments come after journalists were harassed and detained during demonstrations on Wednesday.
The government has no intention of gagging the media. So your friends in media and the ones who are here, I can see this is KTN. No. Government gains nothing, totally nothing, and it is a useless job to think that the preoccupation of our government is to gag media. No. You haven't seen me threaten the media, and I will not. I want us to work together because media is part of us. So even you as communicators, pass this message to our media houses. And what the government is asking for is not a sycophantic support from the media. Media should criticize us as much as they can. But media should also desist. Just like we don't want the media to be the extension of government, we don't want media to be the extension of the opposition. They must stop and look at themselves and become neutral arbiters. So media houses should know that. We are not, as government, going to gag you, wherever they are. I encourage them to come and talk to us. I have held several meetings with them. So the stereotype you hear again, that this government is an enemy of the media, is not true. We would just like them to be fair, to also report about us what they don't like. In the same way, they can also report what they don't like about the opposition. The communication item. There is no room for what? There is also no room for anarchy and a disorder in Kenya. You have seen what government is doing.
Water and Sanitation Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome has called upon President William Ruto to remain steadfast amid the ongoing demos. Speaking in Embu County, Wahome took a swipe at Azimio leader Raila Odinga, noting that the court had pronounced itself on the 2022 general elections, while Embu Governor Cecily Mbarire voicing her support for President William Ruto's administration.
Must choose to either build or destroy. Kenya is a constitutional democracy. I said Kenya is a constitutional democracy. We have order and the rule of law. If we agree that we are in a constitutional democracy, we have agreed elections are conducted in a particular manner, kuna sheria ya they cannot entertain and continue to entertain grievances which are planned by way of maandamano. That cannot be our destiny as a country, and this must now be the end of maandamano. And we have told the president we are his supporters. I'm his minister. I was in the trenches looking for this government myself. We supported the president. We won elections. We have told the president we are not willing as his partners in this government to go for handshake or dialogue.
Tuna time ya maandamano Embu County. Sisi kazi yetu ni kupanda chakula, kujitayarisha, kungojea ile kazi ya Mheshimiwa William Ruto. Tunajua mambo ni magumu, cost of living imeenda juu, lakini we know the president has a good plan for this country,
which is going to put into effect the two conditions in Article 37 of our Constitution to ensure we will always have peaceful demonstrations, picketing, and peaceful presentation of petition to public authorities.
The Molo Law Court has today denied Londiani accident truck driver Gilbert Mutuye Mungu cash bail. While delivering the verdict, Molo Chief Magistrate Elena Nderitu stated that the court is in concurrence with the prosecution. She further cited that there was a great possibility of the driver absconding from court sessions due to the fact that he is a Rwandese and not a Kenyan citizen. The suspect will be detained in Nakuru prison awaiting hearing and final ruling on his case. The case is set to be heard on August 30th. The Rwandese truck driver was arraigned in court on Wednesday, July 19th to face 90 charges, including dangerous driving, which led to the death of 52 people and the destruction of 10 vehicles. In a previous interview, the 52-year-old had stated that his brakes had failed, thus making it difficult for him to control the vehicle.
Said road at a speed and in a manner that was dangerous to the public, having regard to the circumstances of the case, including the nature, the condition, and the amount of traffic, the amount of vehicles expected to be reasonably expected to be on the road.
Now, Chief Justice Martha Koome on Thursday visited Kiambu Court, where she officially launched a special plan to enable citizens to file their cases using technology, well known as e-filing, in an effort to improve court services and also transparency to all Kenyans who require the services. Koome was praised or has praised the action of the Kiambu Court while saying that it is an example to be imitated by courts in all other counties. Additionally, Koome has said that it is also its success that will help a lot in reducing the return of many cases or backlog of cases witnessed in many courts in Kiambu. At the same time, she has indicated that they are already finishing the plan to upgrade the Thika Court to be a high court, as well as provide a new court for environmental and land issues in Lari parliamentary area.
It is 3 days of filing. We looked at what has come to the CTS. Kiambu High Court has had 21 civil cases and 3 criminal cases filed online already. Thika, 9 civil cases filed online. Gatondo Magistrates Court, 7 civil cases and 29 criminal cases filed online. I believe those 29 criminal cases, most of them have to do with those illicit rules. Kawa Magistrates Court had 1 civil case and 15 criminal cases. Kiambu Magistrates Court, 22 civil cases and 79 criminal cases. Again, the upsurge because of the crackdown on illicit brew. The case tracking system, which enables us to track the entire details of a case from initiation to disposition.
To a disheartening story, Kilifi Chief Officer Rahab Karisa was stabbed to death at her home. Chief Officer for Fisheries and Blue Economy in Kilifi County, and Rahab was allegedly stabbed to death by her house help in Mnarani, Kilifi County on Thursday morning. She returned to the country on Wednesday from a trip to Italy. According to a private guard, the house help escaped before officers from a private firm arrived for their morning duties. Police say they are investigating the incident.
Crime imefanyika na tuliweza kuwasili, na tulipowasili tulipata kuona kwamba mfanyakazi ama was chief officer wa county government of Kilifi aliweza kupoteza maisha yake kutokana na kujeruhiwa na mfanyakazi wake wa nyumba. Bahati mbaya tumempoteza na amefariki. So tuliwasili tukafanya mambo ambayo polisi wanafanya, ambayo kwa kimombo tunasema processing of the crime scene, na kazi nyingine bado inaendelea ya uchunguzi zaidi. Wao kwa kudungwa kisu na bado tunaendelea na uchunguzi, na tumeweza kucover pia hiyo kifaa ambacho ni kisu kilitumika kwa yeye kuweza kupoteza maisha yake.
Indeed, quite unfortunate, and we do condole with the families and friends. Residents of Masol area, West Pokot, are facing starvation due to the severe drought that continues to ravage the county. Area Member of Parliament Peter Lochakapong is calling on the government to rescue his constituents, as most of them have been forced to cross to neighboring counties in search of grass and water.
Watu wanalia sana mambo ya maji kwa sababu hapa mtoni ni mbali. Ile maji ambayo watu wanategemea kwa kukunywa na hata mifugo ni maji ya kuchimbwa, ile inaitwa boho. Na sasa mimi na mheshimiwa MCA hapa tunafanya kila juhudi kuhakikisha kwamba katika nafasi ambayo tulio naye tunalete hiyo boreholes na tuhakikisha kwamba watu wetu wanapata maji kwa karibu kwa namna ambavyo inawezekana kwa wingi. So mimi kama sasa chairman wa regional development nimeweka mikakati na mipango ya kuhakikisha kwamba boreholes nyingi zinajengwa sehemu hii.
Sisi kama Wapokot wa huku mpakani tumeathirika sana, especially kwa mambo ya kiangazi na mambo ya insecurity. Imekuwa changamoto sana. Kama serikali ingeweza kutusaidia hata maneno ya irrigation i-boost ili chakula ikuwe available.
Hiyo ukulima imeharibiwa na mambo ya kiangazi, mambo ya jua imechoma, mvua imepotea.
In the world of sports, Gor Mahia FC have been kicked out of the CAF Champions League for failing to meet CAF club licensing rules, the Confederation of African Football has announced. Consequently, the continent's football governing body has ordered Football Kenya Federation to revoke Gor's license. Last month, FKF announced in a statement it had cleared Gor and two other clubs to participate in CAF competitions for the 2023 to 2024 season. It followed CAF circular issued earlier that month regarding the club licensing process and requisite criterion. FKF had invited applications from 5 clubs, the top 4 FKF Premier League clubs, as well as the finalists of the FKF Cup competition. Well, indeed, quite unfortunate for Gor Mahia right there to be kicked out of the CAF Champions League. And we can only hope that perhaps, they will be able to rectify some of the instructions or regulations for the Confederation of African Football. But aside from that, the Women's World Cup is underway. Match day 1 was today. And we can hope that within the next 20 or so days, it will be quite entertaining and rejuvenating as well. That's where we wrap it up for tonight. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Have yourselves a blessed night ahead.